The New Orleans Saints just had their final OTA practice to the Saints media before we get into mandatory minicamp next week. And in this final showcasing, second-year quarterback Spencer Rattler continued to look good on a week-to-week basis during these OTA practices as we continue to go through this quarterback battle, and maybe he just pulled ahead in the lead. And we also have some other updates from OTAs today to go over as well. Before we dive into that though, I'd appreciate it if you took 5 seconds to subscribe, help us get to 15K. We just hit 10K. Shout out to you guys. You guys are awesome. I appreciate all of you. Help support the channel, like the video, and stay up to date with all of our Saints and NFL content that we post on here daily. First things first, before we dive into Thursday's OTAs, I want to pull up 2 clips that the Saints social media team posted on Wednesday. And shout out to them because it's nice to actually have this footage and not just imagine what it looks like. The Saints media team posted 2 very important clips from their OTA on Wednesday, and there was Tyler Shough and Spencer Rattler both throwing downfield passes to Rashid Shaheed and Chris Olave for touchdowns. The first one we're going to look at is the Spencer Rattler one. Spencer Rattler to Chris Olave on a deep bomb. Great throw, drops back to throw. Maybe takes a little too long to get there. If there was pressure, offensive, defensive line, does he have enough time to get to this read? Did he process it fast enough? Who knows? It's 7-on-7s, OTAs, no pads. Take it with a grain of salt. Looks like he's going, actually we'll get into that in a second. He's going deep downfield and connects to Chris Olave. Doesn't look like he has to stop. Looks like he leads him. Olave jumps for it. I don't know if he had to jump for it, but this looks like a good ball and a touchdown. In coverage back here is safety Terrell Burgess, and then right here is rookie safety Elliot Davison. So that leaves me to question, was this against the second team defense if those 2 were on the field? I know Tyrann Mathieu been out. Maybe he was in at safety. Danny Stutzman is right here. He's been getting reps as the first team linebacker, but was DeMario there on that day? And this was second team defense. So this might have been Spencer Rattler versus the second team defense. So take that into consideration. Nonetheless, though, he's still throwing to Chris Olave. They got the connection down, and it was a really good throw. And then the Saints also posted one from Tyler Shough going deep to Rashid Shaheed. It looks like he might have been with the first team offense versus the first team defense. Jordan Howden's at safety. There's Chris Olave. And there's Demario Davis on the little edge of the corner. So it looks like this is against the first team defense. Shough goes deep. And there's Rashid Shaheed making an outstanding catch. I mean, this is a ridiculous catch. Like a cat, like acrobatics. Great athleticism on this play. Ugo Amadi in coverage. As for the throw, I can't really tell because I don't have an exact full look at it. I can't tell if this is where it needed to be or if he threw it a little bit out of the way. It looks like he put it where it needed to be, at least for Rashid Shaheed to make a play on the ball. So a pretty good pass to Rashid Shaheed, and Rashid Shaheed makes an excellent catch. I think this one, the catch was better than the throw, and Rattler's throw was better, but nonetheless, both 2 really big plays. Between these 2 clips, I'm happy to see Spencer Rattler going downfield because from the previous OTA practices, it seemed like he wasn't going downfield as much as Tyler Shough was. Not so much that he was gun shy, but just kind of taking what the defense gives him. And there's nothing wrong with that. Take what they give you, zip the ball, quick passes, first reads, process it quickly. That's what he's doing really well. But I also want to see Spencer Rattler go downfield, and to see that clip of him going deep to Chris Olave, that's something I really enjoy. Alright, that's what I wanted to go over. As for Thursday's OTAs, the final one open to the media. It was a little bit slower of a day. Not too many reporters who cover the team are talking about it. Not much that happened. But the biggest talking point, of course, is the quarterbacks. The team did a 7-on-7 red zone period, which I believe is the first time we're seeing this from the Saints OTAs that are open to the media. And during these 7-on-7 red zone drills, here's how the quarterbacks performed. Spencer Rattler went 6 of 8 throwing 3 touchdowns. Tyler Shough went 7 of 8 throwing 1 touchdown. And Hunter Dekkers went 2 of 4 throwing 1 touchdown. Spencer Rattler might have had possibly 4 touchdowns depending on where a ref or an official would have spotted the football. Based on what everyone had to say, Spencer Rattler looked like he killed it, continuing his success from the previous weeks at OTAs where he also looked pretty strong. Ross Jackson gave some extra detail to Spencer Rattler's strong day at practice today, saying that he believes that he had the strongest performance of the day, finishing 6 of 8, 3 touchdowns, or 4 depending on where the ball was spotted, saying that he looked quick and decisive as he's been all throughout OTAs, showed a lot of patience and movement ability during 7-on-7s in the red zone, And the touchdown passes was a 20-yard pass to Juwan Johnson, a 7-yard touchdown pass to Kevin Austin Jr., and an 18-yard touchdown to Chris Olave, and we just saw their connection on that deep ball. And then there was a 5-yard little thing to Cedric Wilson, depending on the spot. It was caught at the 2-yard line, and then he ran into Ugo Amadi, who was close. So that could have been 4, maybe not. But this is encouraging from the second-year quarterback. Spencer Rattler is in year 2, and like we've been saying, he's going to be more sure of what he's doing than Tyler Shough. He's going to be more decisive. He's going to process things better, faster, and he should be. And again, he's had a full year of experience. He got to start 6 games, 7 if you include the Commanders game. He should be looking like this, and that year 1 to year 2 jump is the most important, I think, for a lot of players in the NFL. And for him, he's making sure that this job isn't just given to Tyler Shough. He's making him earn it. He's making him fight for it. And he's not going down without a fight because he sees this as an opportunity for him to be the team's starting quarterback as well. So a pretty strong day from Spencer Rattler yet again. It hasn't sounded like he's had any bad days so far, but really we'll get more into that come training camp when there's pads and pressure and offensive line play. So he had a strong day. As for rookie quarterback Tyler Shough, it doesn't sound like he was bad, but it does sound like the explosiveness from the previous 2 weeks died down a little bit. Week 1, he hit Rashid Shaheed on a big 50-yard touchdown. Last week had 2 touchdown passes of 60 yards to Bub Means and Donovan Peoples-Jones. As for today, it sounds like things were happening a little bit slower for him. He wasn't processing plays as much, not reading the defense as much, not as decisive or quick with his reads. And I mean, we're still in June, so it's okay. He's a rookie. He's what now, in his 8th or 9th NFL practice? I mean, he's still going to have some of these rookie struggles, and that's okay. He's still figuring out how to practice as a professional athlete. Now, I can say, though, that Tyler Shough did, in fact, get some first-team reps with the offense during 7-on-7 red zone drills. So they're still rotating him and Spencer Rattler, it sounds like, within this first-team offense rotation. But I'm assuming Spencer Rattler's still getting majority of those reps. Nick Underhill earlier this week, though, did say that he heard from players that Tyler Shough during another 7-on-7 red zone period killed it and looked absolutely awesome.
The buzz you're hearing behind the scenes about what he's doing in these practices, the ones we are not. I guess there was a red zone period. Heard from a couple of guys that were out on the field that he just tore it up out there during that practice, really built some confidence. I think in one period he threw 4 passes in the red zone, had 3 touchdowns. I heard looked really, really good in this practice that we weren't at.
That's some positive feedback for the rookie quarterback. So there is some positive momentum. It just didn't happen on Thursday when the media was there. So maybe it was just a little bit of an off day. Everyone has one. But there, of course, are things that he's going to have to improve on going into minicamp and training camp, like processing, making decisive reads, being quick with his decisions. But he's still looking good. He was 7 of 8 with a touchdown during the red zone period today. It just wasn't as flashy as, say, Spencer Rattler's day. I still think the quarterback competition is close and it's going to continue to stay close. And we also got our first look at Hunter Dekkers for the first time, the undrafted rookie quarterback, during the red zone 7-on-7 drills. And he went 2 of 4 and threw a touchdown strike to Michael Jacobson. Dekkers was patient. When I see patient, I'm thinking, did he wait a little bit too long? Would he have been sacked if there was some pressure? He let the play develop before letting the ball rip and finding the tight end for the touchdown. First time they've seen Hunter Dekkers. So there's just a little update there on the undrafted rookie quarterback. And as for third-year quarterback Jake Kaner, he did not practice as he continues to battle through an oblique injury which he suffered during the first week of OTAs, but he was participating a little bit at the start of practice. From the sounds of it, he was participating through the walkthrough, but nothing physical, and then he was working off to the side as he has been throughout the previous weeks. On the topic of quarterback Jake Kaner, him along with Faustin Moreau and Dallin Holker were players who are present at practice but not practicing. They're working off to the side as they continue to work through injuries. Moreau with the knee, Holker with an ankle injury. And as for players who are not at OTAs today on Thursday, Taysom Hill, Brandon Cooks, Tyrann Mathieu, Dallas Beenum, Kamara, JT Gray, Ruiz, Shepard, Jordan, Chris Rumpf, Chase Young, and Quincy Riley was participating a little bit during individual drills. And then we do have 2 injury updates about some players on the team. Head coach Kellen Moore said Nick Saldiveri, the guard, and Dallas Beenum, the rookie cornerback, were not available today due to injuries that they're dealing with. Kellen Moore said that it's nothing long-term, it's minor, and they just were not available for today. Maybe they'll be back tomorrow and next week at minicamp. We'll just have to see. But something that stands out from the attendance is that Quincy Riley was back and participating for the first time since the Saints drafted him. He wasn't really doing anything during rookie minicamp or OTAs because he had a procedure done after the draft. So this is really his first look in his first, I believe, practice as a New Orleans Saint, but it wasn't a full go. Quincy Riley did some individual drills working with the defensive backs, but it doesn't sound like he did any 7-on-7s or team drills. Mike Triplett said that rookie cornerback Quincy Riley was participating in OTAs for the first time. And then the biggest question is, where was he going to line up? Is he going to be a slot or outside guy? And at the first look, he lined up at an outside corner during the full team walkthroughs. And that's a pretty significant note in my opinion, because everyone wants to know, where's Alontae gonna play? Where's Quincy Riley gonna play? Is Isaac Yiadom a starter? How does the secondary gonna look? Because there's some concerns there. And as of right now, during his first look, he was an outside corner. In addition to Quincy Riley playing outside corner, Alontae Taylor got more reps at outside corner as well, after mainly being practicing inside and in the slot over the past few OTA practices. In addition to Quincy Riley standing out on the day, we also had another defensive back standing out, and cornerback Alontae Taylor, who Ross Jackson said was a standout of practice on Thursday. He had a couple passes defended, was communicating really well with his teammates in the defense. He celebrated every move and play by his teammates, was super vocal and brought a ton of energy. We know Alontae definitely has energy. We know he can make some plays when he's in the right position and right headspace. And the defense, for the most part, was really good and won the day, aside from the few red zone touchdowns they let up. And that's positive to hear, because I think there's a lot of reasons to be negative and pessimistic about this defense. They really got to start getting things going, especially in the secondary. But if the defensive line, once they put the pads on, maybe they'll play a lot better, or maybe worse, depending on how that unit is. Kellen Moore was asked about Alontae Taylor, and he had really positive feedback for him, saying, "I love watching Alontae Taylor. He's everything you want. He's got juice every day. I just feel like he's going to become a really prominent leader for our team," and you kind of have seen him step into this leadership role. When you watch the Saints OTA videos, at the end he's always giving a lot of speeches, or you can hear him talking, or when you see the photos, he's always in the middle breaking down the huddle. It sounds like he's stepping up into a leadership role as a relatively young player. Some other notes is that Cesar Ruiz, the guard, was not at practice, not due to an injury, but he just wasn't there. And guard Dylan Radins, who the team signed earlier this offseason, filled in at right guard for him. Kicker Blake Grupe went 5 of 5, making a 54-yard kick, and looked pretty good. And the final note is one of the most interesting ones to me, and it's about the running back rotation. With Alvin Kamara out, obviously the team's trying to find their number 2 running back. They have Devin Neal, who they drafted in the 6th round. They signed undrafted rookie Marcus Yarns, who has been doing some positive things. They brought back Clyde Edwards-Helaire as a free agent. And they also have Kendre Miller, who definitely has the talent, but can he stay healthy? Can he get down the playbook? The biggest questions with him is more so availability and off the field stuff, more so than his talent. According to Matthew Parras, it sounds like the running back rotation included a lot of Devin Neal and Clyde Edwards-Helaire, while Kendre Miller wasn't as involved in his opinion. Maybe someone else took it a different way. And that's the final note I got for today's OTA video from today's OTA practice open to the media. Up next is mandatory minicamp for the New Orleans Saints. And Kellen Moore says that he expects everyone to be there at mandatory minicamp next week. Alvin Kamara, Tyrann Mathieu, and all the guys who haven't been there every day at OTAs, he expects them to be there next week, and we'll see how that turns out. Let me know down in the comments your biggest takeaways from this OTA practice, and the final one open to the media before mandatory minicamp next week. I appreciate it if you made it this far, and for tuning into this video, make sure to like it if you enjoyed, subscribe to the channel, help support us, help us get to 15K. My name's Cash, and I'll catch you next time. Have a good one. Peace.